Coach Ben here, bigbenchas.com. Today I want to show you the standard hip flexor stretch because most people perform this movement wrong, believe it or not, and they just don't realize it. So I'm going to show you today how what the wrong way is with the hip flexor stretch, and then how you can go about correcting it and make sure you get the most out of this great stretch, okay? And this is a stretch that I keep in the core for all my FST clients, so you should really be able to perform this stretch proficiently. All right, so the hip flexor stretch, we're down on one knee. When our back ankle here is out straight, we're working more at the psoas, more hip specific hip flexors. When we have, it's called the couch stretch, when we have our foot up, because we're putting a stretch on the quad. So now we're focusing more on the quads with the couch stretch when we have our foot up on the wall. Just two different variations to hit different parts, but today we're going to focus on the hip specific hip flexor stretch. More standard one, easier to do right here. So, performing it wrong is when people get what we call posterior pelvic tilt. So let me stand up to show you that. So right here, that's posterior pelvic tilt. See how my butt's coming out? Think of that whole pelvic girdle right here. Think of the pelvis itself. And then that's a posterior tilt. What we want to try to do is get that anterior tilt. All right, most people are already locked into a posterior pelvic tilt just from sitting too much, tight hip flexors. That's usually the standard nowadays. So what we're trying to do is try to get the best we can, get an anterior pelvic tilt. All right. So now that you know what that looks like, we're down here, and this would be the wrong way. This is what I see performed very often. This is people going down and do it like this. But you can see there's a huge arc getting created in my back right now. So I'm not really hitting the hip flexors at all. I don't even feel a stretch. Maybe a light stretch, but I'm just kind of cranking in on my back. I could get really deep into this and you're like, oh, what a great stretch. You're not really hitting anything here. I'm just creating a bigger posterior pelvic tilt, which is not what I want. So I'm going to start off by kind of just thinking about tilting my pelvis underneath me. And I'm already getting a stretch here just by doing that. You're almost thinking about bringing your tailbone up towards your chest, rotating it up. All right, sometimes I start on the ground and I kind of get a little tilt here around my back a little bit, and then I bring it back. Now I'm getting a stretch here before I can even straighten my body out. That would be the correct way to do a hip flexor stretch. All right, think about that anterior tilt. So we're here. Think about the anterior tilt. I'm already getting a stretch. I don't even have to do anything. Right here, this is about my end range. I'm getting it real good right in the hip flexors right here. All right, so none of this. Right here, I'm just arching my back. Anyone can do that. Tilt. That's a real hip flexor stretch right there. I'm already feeling it right here. All right, doesn't take much, just that little tilt. You're probably already hitting your hip flexors. One way to enhance the hip flexor stretch here, if you want to add a little banded distraction. Okay? So I have a band set up right here. I'll show you on the left leg. All right, getting it right up. Top of my leg. This is kind of adding a little bit of a tractioning element here. So I'm coming on so I get a stretch. This is a light band. I'd advise you use this with a little bit of a heavier band to get more pull. Okay, so I'm getting that tilt and I'm coming forward. And this might delay where you actually start to feel the stretch a little bit. So it just lets you get a little bit deeper by pushing that femur back in the joint. All right? So you can enhance the hip flexor stretch with this banded distraction. But the key thing I wanted to get through to you guys today is how to stop doing the old way where you're just lunging forward, creating that posterior pelvic tilt, getting your arch in your back. Make sure you get that anterior tilt, and that's pretty much all it's going to take for you to feel the hip flexors working. All right, so that's the correct way to do it. I don't want to see anyone doing it the wrong way. It's in the core 4. You got to know this stuff. Hip flexor stretch, great thing to do on the daily, multiple times a day. All right, so now that you know the right way to do it, get after it. I'll see you next time. Bigbenchas.com, Coach Ben here.